And I'll just go ahead and get started. I just had a nice little personal chat from Keely Cruz saying she liked the Zoom background. Actually, Zoom background, I'm going to give a shout out to the Tennessee Aquarium. This was used and designed and produced by the Tennessee Aquarium for an event that they hosted regarding a group. And Keely, you actually hosted that group as well, the Georgia Society of Association Executives, when they were in town. So I just thought it was too cool to put in the trash. The aquarium gave it to us. I put it up on my wall. So it is not a Zoom background. It's actually real live, high quality produced by the Tennessee Aquarium. So thanks, Tom and Keith and the whole crew there at the aquarium. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. First of all, we've got a pretty good agenda today. And a lot of times we have Data Dave from our office, Dave Santucci, sharing some information. He's going to do that for us again today. And then we have a fantastic guest to share some impact information about Hamilton County and the state of Tennessee. And Adam Manzel from the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development is going to speak with us. And we know that there's always great conversations and great information coming out of their office. So we appreciate Adam being with us. And then we'll have some time for Q&A, and we'll also tie some of that data into current time. But I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend and appreciate everything that you do again every day to take care of our guests and visitors when they come into town. We're going to share a video. This is kind of becoming a regular monthly spot on our tourism discussion calls. And this week, we're going to share our video, our CHA Spotlight video. Again, hats off to Donna in our office and Sean and others who are involved in producing these monthly videos. This month's video revolves around sidewalk stages, and a great production, great effort by Soundcore to bring these sidewalk stages to life in our community. So Candace, if we can play that video, it'd be great.
Oh my gosh, I love that sound. That is the sound of live music all throughout downtown Chattanooga with some of the best musicians in the world.
Thanks, Donna.
Oh no, Sean, not you. This CHA Spotlight features Soundcore's Sidewalk Stages street performers.
The man that makes it all happen is the executive director of Soundcore, Stratton Tingle.
Every great music city has a robust street performance culture, and that's why we've been intentional about building sidewalk stages to encourage more musicians to take to the streets of Chattanooga to entertain our locals and tourists with live local music performances.
Chattanooga's a place where you can really come here and jam out and embrace your true artistry.
Soundcore was established in 2015 to help grow the music economy in Chattanooga. They schedule between 500 and 700 performances each year and reach about 200,000 people.
They've had the opportunity to vet 150 street performers each year throughout Chattanooga. But that's not all. These performers have had the opportunity to be considered for Grammys. They've finished albums, and they've also won plenty of awards.
It's really a community effort, and working with tourism company, working with the city of Chattanooga, with the police department, with the park rangers, it really takes a family to make things like this happen, and that's what makes Chattanooga so wonderful.
This summer in Chattanooga, you'll hear singer-songwriters, guitarists, ukulele players, keyboardists, DJs, and more, thanks to Soundcore's sidewalk stages. When you see them, make sure that you tip them.
This is a CHA Spotlight, only at visitchattanooga.com.
All right, greatly. That's fantastic. I love it. If you'll get that link, I think, in the chat. You can also go to our YouTube channel and find that. Be sure to help us get that out. And Stratton, thank you for everything you've done to bring live music to the street corners around our community, and really makes a difference on our guest experience. So thank you very much for that. Next up is Dave Santucci, our Chief Marketing Officer, and I know he was on the phone yesterday, really digging into some data from this past weekend, plus some. So Dave's going to take a few minutes and give you an update.
Thanks, Barry. Before we jump into the data, I want to say on the music there and this video, so much is tied together. The state worked with us and made a major investment in bringing live music back, and Stratton and Soundcore were wonderful partners in that. We've had some disruptions this fall as a result of the Delta variant, but I will tell you that our investment and commitment to bringing live music back will be never ending, and the state's been an incredible partner in that. And we're already having conversations about how do we keep that momentum into 22 to make sure that all the work that's been done by some of the people on this call over the past decade, and Donna and the state and everybody keeps going. So just want to say, that is a major focus and an effort of ours. So let's jump into some data here real quick. And the first thing I want to show you is this is Arrivalist data. Again, for those that may not be familiar with it, it is that kind of creepy cool software that tracks the movement of our mobile devices. And so we can see how many people are arriving into Chattanooga and where are they traveling and moving about. So the darker line there is 2021 and the lighter line is 2019. And we were trailing a little bit at the start of the year. But then as summer came along, boom, it was gangbusters in terms of people coming into market. And that really did kind of carry through into this past weekend, Labor Day, where we saw really strong numbers. So summertime, Memorial Day to Labor Day was, from what we can tell, potentially the strongest summer on record for Chattanooga. You'll see a steep drop there, and that may look awful. That is just our seasonality and what we see between July and August, and as a normal organic drop off in visitation. It was a little steeper this year, but again, we hit a new high in July and wound up in a fairly similar place. For hoteliers on, and Brian, who looks at our Smith Travel research every week, the picture is even a little bit better than this because rates were a little bit higher, people stayed a little bit longer, and so the hotels actually did even better. It was a little bit even more of an optimistic picture over the summertime. Candace, we want to jump to the next slide. Got on with Arrivalist this week, and every month we asked them to do a little bit deeper research into something. And so knowing that we were going to get on with Adam from the state, and that we've got a strong growth in long distance travelers, people coming from 500 plus miles. It has been a great growth for us over the past 18 months. And so we said, all right, what do these long distance travelers look like? Where are they coming from? Let's learn a little bit more about them. And in the top left there, it's a little bit hard to see, but these are the other cities that these long distance travelers are visiting. Our long distance travelers are not just coming to Chattanooga, they're visiting Nashville, Knoxville, other cities across the state, and they're staying longer. They're also coming from some of the markets that we've been working with the state for years and have really started investing in over this past year. So Chicago, Tampa, Orlando, and I'm sorry, I'm just struggling to read them a little bit, but there's these cities that are really strong for us that we've been investing in. Also showing up in here, we have some cities like St. Louis, Charlotte, New Orleans that the state has been investing in more heavily recently. And now we'll be also looking at as potential growth markets for us to really grow Chattanooga's brand. So with that, I don't want to take up too much time. Adam's got some really great information for us, and I want to pass it over back to Barry and then over to Adam. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. I had to Appreciate the information. I had to turn my camera off because that slide was so much detail. I had to get really close to my screen to try to read some of that. But all good info. We'll make that available and a little bit more legible in the link. And we're also recording this, so you can go back and check it out and match up the numbers with the comments there. Adam Manzel is the Statistical Research Specialist for the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. I am not going to go into the full bio on Adam, but I do want to say that Adam is, as far as we know, the first full-time research specialist for the State Department of Tourist Development, perhaps ever, if not ever, in a very long time. So I want to thank Commissioner Ezell for recognizing the need. Adam serves our state in a very important role and has great information to relay, and is used both in advocacy with the state legislature and also with partners like us around the state. So I've asked Adam to kind of just give us a brief intro himself and about how long he's been with the state and a couple of other items, and then he's going to get into some current research.
All right, Barry, thank you very much. I am really excited to be here with all of you today, and I can share some slides whenever this screen share stops. But as he said, my name's Adam. I have been working at the state of Tennessee for about 3 years now, and it has been about 2 years with the Department of Tourist Development, and it's a fast-paced and exciting industry to be in. That's even more important right now than ever before. But I'm originally from Overton County, and I hope you'll excuse the rustic background. I'm actually reporting live from Cumberland Mountain State Park, doing a little visit there right now, but delighted to be here with you today. And really, what I want to say, more than anything is thank you. One, thank you for having me here, but then also thank you for the contributions that Hamilton County and, all of Southeast Tennessee is making to the tourism industry in Tennessee. Because, in a year of immense struggle, we have really seen some strong performers in the tourism sector that have said, we have ways to make this safe and entertaining at the same time, despite the pandemic. And you all have been experts at doing that this entire time. So thank you for your work. And really what I'm here today is to share some data. I like to call it MAD data, because the data that we really use at the department is for marketing, advocacy A, and then development. So today I want to give you things that you can advocate for yourselves and demonstrate this is why tourism matters in our community. And this is proof that we are performing really strongly compared to the rest of the state and in fact, the nation. So let's dive in. I want to spend just a brief time on 2020. We've talked about it a lot, so I won't hit it too hard. But you'll notice recently the state released our 2020 Economic Impact of Travel on Tennessee report. I'll do a brief disclaimer. We have a new vendor this year. U.S. Travel has gotten out of this game, and so we had to pick up a new vendor in tourism economics. They have been a really fantastic partner, but the numbers that you see might not align with what is in our previous reports. So I encourage you to refer to this one, and we've tried to give some good historical data and some new industry breakdowns that we didn't have previously. But overall, this is how the state performed in some of our top economic impact areas. In terms of visitor spending, we saw a nearly 32% decline, which, given the 42% decline at the nation, we were pretty happy with. We think that Tennessee's outdoor assets and our ability to host travel safely really allowed us to stand apart and capture some additional market share in a really challenging year. But still, we observed that 32% decline, which was, of course, followed by a decline in tax revenue, about 30%, and then a little less in employment and in labor income, thankfully. Now, that employment number declined less, but it's one that's still recovering now. So we'll come back to that, but I want you to keep an eye on it. And overall, the state of Tennessee, for all of the tax dollars generated for the state, it saves, over $500 per household in annual taxes. So one, that's where the state is this year. And for some context, we hit that $16.8 billion visitor spending number that takes us back to about 2011 to 2012 in terms of visitor spending. So essentially, the spending that we lost in 2020 kicked us back about 9 years in terms of economic impact. This is, has been pretty devastating for a lot of our communities, but there are some that are, thriving among this as well. And so I want to briefly hit on what Hamilton County looks like for 2020. And then this is the last we'll talk about 2020, and we'll move on to some more recent information. Hamilton County slightly outperforms the state at a 30% decline, and a little over $1 billion in all of our visitor spending. So of that big $16 billion number, Hamilton County produced over $1 billion of it, and for that we are very grateful. The report estimates that there are more than 10,000 employees working in your industry, and you can see there it's more than 54 million in state taxes contributed and more than 36 million in local taxes. Over half of this money is going right back into schools and other public services in your community. So you can be really proud that you've helped generate this for your community over this past year, despite the pandemic. And as you can see, we provide a little bit of historical information in the county snapshot and our economic impact report that I'll give you some time to go through. It has some really interesting information about how the industries break down, where your money is in the community and where it puts you in terms of that historical information. But for the sake of time, let's talk about 2021. And I want to just, continue to compare ourselves with the nation and with the state as we do this. So if you look here, there's a lot of details, but I want to point you to the top right, and that's the -6% in travel spending for July of 2021. That number is compared to 2019, and it's for the entire United States of America. So as of July, this is their most recent tourism economics report. They see that visitor spending is down about 6% below what it was before. If we take a look at the state of Tennessee, we can see that we are actually outperforming that at to the tune of 8%. And July of 21 was the first time that Tennessee went positive on this number since March of 2020. So really, in terms of the money that is coming into our communities, we are at a turning point. July was a really phenomenal month for us. And we expect August and early September, certainly with Labor Day, to really perform well. But this analysis is not possible at the county level for tourism economics, but we do have some exciting data from the Department of Revenue that I want to make sure we share with you all, just so you can understand a little more granular detail about your community. So this chart shows you state sales and use tax collections for the leisure and hospitality industry, those industries that you support, including amusements, eating and drinking places, and hotel and lodging places. For the state as a whole, you'll see that we've actually been positive for the past few months. This is largely driven by eating and drinking places. And in June, we were $12 million above our 2019 level. That's about 10% above our 2019 level. As I said, this is driven in many ways by eating and drinking places, which have been up about 13% since this March. They really saw a big spike, and that industry has recovered more quickly and sustained its recovery better than the others. Amusements, they go up and down a little bit. It's a smaller industry. They finished June about 3% down, and then hotel and lodging actually for the first time broke positive. And this hotel and lodging number is important because it's the most true tourism number of all of them. The people that stay in your hotels, are generally not local. So it's really exciting to see that go positive for the first time. And when we consider that $12 million increase, we want to look and see, what counties are really driving the increased tax revenue generation. At the top, all three of the counties are in East Tennessee. We've got Sevier up 38%, Knox up 16%, and then Hamilton County up more than 11% over June. This is compared to 2019, and this is just leisure and hospitality sales and use tax collections. If we look at that 11.4%, that's about another $1 million above 2019 in state sales and use tax revenue collections. And we can see that really what's driving this is not eating and drinking places as it is in the rest of the state. What's driving the increase in revenue in Hamilton County is your tourism assets. Hotel and lodging places up 22% over 2019. Amusement services up 16% over 2019. And then eating and drinking, which has been driving the entire state, is actually the bottom, up only 9%, which is fantastic for a normal year. But you compare it to 22 in hotel and lodging, and it really shows you that Hamilton County has been thriving in the leisure and hospitality section as they have captured more tourism dollars this summer than even in 2019. So we are very impressed from a state perspective about how you all are doing. You are driving real revenue into the state and to your local communities. And we hope this offers a little proof of the hard work that you have been doing, just to demonstrate how far you've come. And in fact, you all have been positive in all of these categories since April. So really, this spring to summer has been really good for you. We're expecting great performance from July as well, based on our hotel data and some arrivalist numbers that we've been monitoring too. But I do want to take sort of the last minute here to look ahead at some of our economic forecasts and just sort of acknowledge the reality of where we are. The state monitors our national news pretty closely. And if you look at some of the headlines, we see that feelings of safety and the need for personal protection are not going away. We are continuing to extend our mask mandates in our federal transportation, so aviation and in national parks. And we expect that, because of the rise of the Delta variant, airlines are going to continue to take a hit. I know that there's the airline there in Chattanooga that supports you all that has done fantastic work. So we might want to expect those drive travelers to continue to support our community throughout this late summer into early fall season. And overall, I won't spend too much time on this, but travel sentiment across the country is really in flux. There's a lot of people that are excited, they're gung-ho about travel again, but there are just as many that are getting a little cautious. And in fact, we've seen, normalcy and optimism dropping about half since 4th of July. And I want to point out maybe the other thing, the big takeaway here is that 13% of those that did not head out on Labor Day actually canceled their trips because of Delta variant concerns. So even though we are performing extraordinarily well, there's still money being left on the table, and feelings of safety and reassuring travelers that we can protect them when they head out is going to be critical going forward. I'll share this with you so you can go through it later, but I just want to finish on the economic forecast for the next 4 years, which shows that we really don't expect domestic travel to fully recover in the United States until 2023, although we do hit 99% of that in 2022. Where the real declines are going to be are in domestic business travel, which they don't expect to recover until 2024. And then, of course, international, is expected to recover in 2025. So you can spend some time with these, but overall, just want the takeaway to be that, leisure travel, short distances, that under 500-mile in vehicles are going to be really important for our travel recovery as business and international and aviation struggle to recover. I know that was a lot in a short amount of time. I'll share these slides and stop sharing my screen now so we can enter a discussion. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate some great information there, and again, some positive, very positive news for Hamilton County. So good information. Appreciate it. Questions? Any chats? Q&A?
Currently no questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Adam, I've got a quick question for you. On the last tourism economics slide you shared, those are national statistics, right? Like they're not regionalized or down to Tennessee. That is what tourism economics is providing. Is that correct?
Yep, that's exactly right. That's the national trend, and Tennessee has consistently outperformed it. So we're optimistic that we will recover a little more quickly than the nation on these metrics.
Great, thank you.
Good. Adam, we had a request. If you're willing to share your slide deck, can you do that? We can share with those who are on the call.
Yeah, absolutely. All this information is public, so I'll share it with you, and then you're welcome to share it with your communities.
He can't say no to that because Now officially public out of the Tennessee.
Now it's
Department of
public
Tourism.
record.
And we do a follow-up email to this, which is our tourism update, and we will go ahead and put a link or to that deck in that email.
Yeah.
So, watch
Yeah.
out for that.
And then the only other thing I would add is that Governor's Conference hosted by TNHTA, the Hospitality and Tourism Association, or Hospitality TN, is next week. So if any of you are interested in hearing more about some of the research and ongoings at the state level, that's a great opportunity to do so.
It is. Good plug. I know we'll have several people there and look forward to it. Again, thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Dave, thank you as always for your contributions. And just a few things to close out the call today. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Got a few key dates coming up there, and I want to got walking tours in our next tourism discussion call on October 14th. I also want to highlight some upcoming events, plus some. National Park Partners, National Treasures, Come Back to Your Park is an event at Point Park tonight. I think they may have a few tickets left, but go check it out. Fun event and for a good cause. Nightfall tomorrow night. And then, of course, Moon River is in town this weekend. So hopefully we'll see some good crowds and people milling about and doing some things outside of Coolidge Park. And then next weekend is the long-awaited, the unveiling or the opening of the Ed Johnson Memorial kicks off next weekend. I think Thursday through Saturday, they have several events going on. So look forward to kind of seeing that happen and open up. Adam, again, from the state of Tennessee, we appreciate it. You know, this is all about, and I think Stratton mentioned it, it's really about partnership and collaboration. And you're going to hear me preach that quite often. Sound Corps, the department, everyone on this call and others. Again, we, Chattanooga Tourism Company, really do not do anything alone. It takes partnerships, it takes collaboration. We're better for it. We are better for it as a community and as a state. And both Chattanooga and Hamilton County and the state of Tennessee succeed when each one of you succeed. So we are all in this together and look forward to working on many other great ways that we can lead our county and our state into economic prosperity in the future. Look forward to our next program. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Enjoy some live music somewhere and be safe.